one, and a two, and a 1, 2, 3.
Adventure time! Come on, grab your friends. We go to a very distant land with Jake the dog and Finn the human. The fun will never end. It's adventure time. Pew!
Welcome back, gang, to episode 2. If you couldn't tell, we're talking about Adventure Time this episode with the shirts and everything.
I've got my cute little Adventure Time shirt that also has but it's like Stranger Things themed, which I think is fun.
Lucy actually made this for me for Christmas. And it's a shirt with BMO, and he has a cone on his head, and it says, this is me, by the way, if you even care. Which he is me. BMO is me, and I love him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
So today we're going to talk Adventure Time, as we said, but we want to talk about one of the women of all time.
The one, the only,
Princess Bubblegum.
She, I think, is a very complicated character, just because of not only how she's super old, guys. She's like what, like over 800, maybe
over
1,000?
800 at least.
Yeah.
Over 800 at least.
Yes.
PB, you're not 19.
Because she was there for the Great Mushroom War.
She wasn't there.
The Mother Gum at least was there, and she was a part of
She was a part of the
Mother
Mother Gum.
On a technicality, she was there.
Yeah.
She was at least there for the aftermath of the Mushroom War.
Oh, wait. When you think about it, that kind of means that because in Marceline and Simon, when they find the Mother Gum.
Yes, the Mother Gum is the one that gives them. The Mother Gum is the one that gives them the soup.
Oh my God! In my personal headcanon now, that was PB.
That was PB helping her future
girlfriends.
Okay, but we do have to talk about, as much as we love Bubblegum, she has some major character flaws.
She might be a little bit of a dictator,
but she's not a fascist, or is she? We'll find out.
Fascists can't be pink, right?
Oh, you said it. I said the title of the
episode.
That's so crazy. Okay, so Bubblegum, as we said, is a complicated character. There are a few episodes within the series where she really does truly suck.
Yeah. The freezer episode.
The cooler.
Oh, yeah, the cooler episode.
Yeah. One of the first ones is literally in like season 4, where she's spying on her citizens. She has surveillance all around Kingdom and even
beyond.
And she has surveillance throughout, like basically
all of Ew.
Because in the cooler episode, you see that she has cameras within the Fire Kingdom. She also put one on
Finn and Jake's tree.
And in Cinnamon Bun.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was like the whole bit of that episode was he thought he had an itchy nose, but he just had a giant camera in his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that one is Starchy. This is where people like call her a fascist, because Starchy, the like little like I think he's like a malt ball.
Yeah.
I think he's like a malt ball with a mustache, obviously. He does not like that Princess Bubblegum is surveilling everyone. So he starts like a secret group to discuss her actions. And then that secret group comes back later on. And that's where Princess Bubblegum, PB, it's going to call her PB, because sometimes saying Princess or Bonnabelle. Her real name is Bonnabelle Bubblegum, guys.
Bonnabelle Bubblegum.
So
that's why Marceline calls her Bonnie.
Bonnie. Okay. I think it's season 8, I think. Tree Trunks. they're in the beginning of the episode, Tree Trunks we find out that Tree Trunks has another husband. She has like 6 husbands.
She is the alien
husband, and he finds out that the alien husband I think is having babies, but Princess Bubblegum is also sending a rocket to space. And I think Tree Trunks finds out that the space mission is actually just Bubblegum trying to cultivate space to try to find a place in case or like Candy Kingdom starts to crumble, and she has like
so
a backup
Elon Musk
place.
core. Oh my God. No.
And Tree Trunks doesn't like that whatsoever. And so she goes around and I think this is why people call her a fascist, is because Tree Trunks makes a sign that says
Fascists
fascist in
in
like
pink glittery
glitter
letters and all that stuff.
and then she like parades it around Candy
Uh-huh.
Kingdom. And also within that episode, she finds Starchy's like secret group and she like takes it over from Starchy and is like trying to take down
Mhm.
Bubblegum. She breaks in and tries to like break the rocket.
Oh, right. I remember that.
But at the end of this episode, Bubblegum does like agree not to go into space. Or I think she agrees not to go to the planet that she was gonna go to. And Tree Trunks helps her find like a different place.
Yeah.
But I think that's why she gets called a fascist.
Fascist a lot. But we have the definition of fascist
Yes.
up and ready to go.
Up and ready to go. The definition of fascism is a mass political movement that emphasizes extreme nationalism, militarism, and the supremacy of the nation over the individual. Which, thinking about it,
Also, they need to control the railways and the flow of commerce, as the Barbie movie taught us.
as Barbie taught us. Which, kind of looking at this now, maybe Bubblegum actually is a
little. Well, I don't know necessarily, because she doesn't really promote the supremacy. I just had a stroke.
Supremacy of the nation.
Supremacy of the Candy Kingdom. She just wants to watch everybody and know. She's not like colonizing the Candy King, colonizing other kingdoms and making more Candy Kingdom.
That's true. She does only have the one Candy King. Wow. She does only have the one Candy Kingdom, and
it's just really the spaceship episode where she wants
and I guess in that episode she does just want to do it for Candy Kingdom.
Just in case.
Just in case. But I mean,
but she could also be a fascist.
She could.
I feel like the writers of Adventure Time were smart enough to have looked up the definition of fascist before they called one of their main characters a fascist.
She could be just a totalitarian government.
Well, she's definitely like authoritarian.
Oh, she definitely. Well, I guess all of Ooh kind of has monarchies because you have all the princesses and stuff. But
hers is a little bit special.
Hers is a little more controlling because she created all of Candy Kingdom,
and she created the citizens.
And like the other, in the other kingdoms, they kind of just were there. I guess they all are the same. I guess like in Berry Kingdom,
they're just all berries.
They're all fruits. But she didn't create those people. In Candy Kingdom, Bubblegum like created her entire,
and she is purposefully giving them dum-dum juice so that they stay stupid.
She did make them all a little stupid.
You know, I was telling my aunt about our premise for this episode, and I told her a little bit about Princess Bubblegum, and she was like, yeah, and she gives her citizens something that they call like dum-dum juice, and my aunt goes, so she's like drugging them?
Dude, she's basically giving them lobotomies. It's so funny.
Well, not lobotomies, but my aunt was like, she's like, so is she basically like roofing them?
Is it dum-dum juice? Are they just having dum-dum juice?
Well, I think she just gives them the dum-dum juice the one time. And that's only really for like Cousin Chicle.
Yeah. Well, I think the only people she purposely dum-dum juice was Gumball, Lolly, and Chicle. I think she just created the rest of the Candy Kingdom.
And they're just stupid.
They just are all just stupid. But other than, I guess.
But I guess
Peppermint Butler. Who's wicked smart, but also literally wicked. That dude is evil as hell.
Yeah, but I kind of love him for it.
I kind of love him. And in Distant Lands, he like loses that. Spoiler alert, he loses.
Oh yeah,
he gets hit with dum-dum juice, and he loses like his ability to like do dark magic. And then, but it's so funny. But I don't think Bubblegum is technically a fascist. Like, she is a bad person. She has done bad things. We've talked about the Cooler episode, and that I think is in season 6.
Yeah, it is.
And basically, the premise of that episode is Fire Kingdom is cooling down. And Flame Princess doesn't know why. So she calls up Bubblegum,
who's like super smart and scientist queen.
So she's like, Bubblegum, please come help me. And Bubblegum's like,
of course, girl.
Like,
yeah.
And so she goes to Fire Kingdom, and she's like, let me into this mysterious room. And Flame Princess is like, no. And Bubblegum's like,
Nuh-uh.
please, I can help save Fire Kingdom.
And spoiler alert,
they do get in, but spoiler alert.
she was the one that was cooling down Fire Kingdom the whole
Yes.
time because she was afraid that Fire Princess has like major anger rage issues.
Yes.
And she was afraid that Fire Princess was gonna basically burn down Ooh to an extent.
Yes, with these, what they call sleeping fire giants.
Yes.
Is the word. And they're basically like these ancient Fire Kingdom.
Like deities.
Like deities, but they're like these like mechanical like flame things.
Yeah.
And
it's like
Bubblegum
kind
was
of think like if any like people are Studio Ghibli fans, they're like the robots in Castle in the Sky, but on fire.
Yes. And Bubblegum like steals basically their batteries, I guess, because she's afraid that they were going to be used against her. And they get into this huge fight. They're like physically fighting and like verbally fighting. And then in the end, Bubblegum technically wins because she she like drowns Flame Princess. She drowns Phoebe basically with like a bunch of rain, which is crazy to begin with. And then also Flame Princess goes like, you're like messed up, Bubblegum.
Yeah.
You're kind of being a terrible person.
And this
Bonnie literally just goes, it's just who I am.
But this does prompt the rest of her character development because she kind of takes a step back and she realizes that she has been monitoring everybody that she loves forever. And like as long as she can remember, she's been watching people behind their backs and like has hidden cameras basically all over.
Yeah, she's like hidden cameras. There's like an episode where she's like laying in her bed and like watching like a satellite of all the citizens in Candy Kingdom. But after that episode, she does start to trust her citizens a little bit more.
And she unplugs all of her.
And she unplugs all their surveillance.
And she and I mean, you could make the argument that she could always have plugged them back in, but I think it's like they make a point in the episodes that she destroyed them.
She fully destroys all of it.
So she permanently gave that up. And I don't think we ever really see her watching or monitoring people after that.
No, we don't. I think that's like one of the last times we see it. And like it was such a change that it really helped. I think that was that was truly a pivotal character arc moment of her like finally like realizing her power over Candy Kingdom because she does truly care about her citizens in the episodes where she gets basically usurped by the real king of Ooh because her citizens voted her out.
Exactly.
She got really upset at her citizens. I think she called them like dingleheads, which I think I should use more.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call more people dingleheads.
Let's bring back dingleheads, everyone.
But
and then we get to the Vermints episode.
Yeah, she gets kicked out, and so
she goes to the cabin that her and her brother, oh my god,
cousin. No, yes,
Needy. It's Needy. Her brother Needy. I just wanted to say Gumball. I was like her brother Gumball, but that's not her brother. That's her uncle, technically.
Technically, on a technicality,
on
yes.
a technicality because she named him Uncle Gumball.
Yeah.
But her and her brother Needy, she goes to the cabin where they first lived when before the Candy Kingdom existed. And we have a really actually beautiful episode, Vermints, which is a Marceline and Bubblegum centered episode. So it is one of my favorites. But it's about her
realizing how much she kind of cares about
Candy Kingdom. And it's because they're like these like vermin, like they're basically like moles or like
that are eating
like
all of her
gophers
pumpkins.
That are eating her pumpkins. Yeah.
And she's getting really upset about it.
So
she's out there with like a shotgun. She's like in like a little she's like redneck ready. She has her cap on.
It's also one of her best fits of all time.
So, that fit is so good. Also, another fit that's good is when the crown goes bananas.
That's such a good one.
But in that episode, she's like,
she has this whole breakdown where she's like, because she loses her hat.
Because she lost her hat.
And so she's crying.
I lost my hat.
And then Marceline's like, we can get you a new hat. and
it's
she
not just my hat. I lost my kingdom and I lost
lost
my
my people, and
people.
I lost my friends
And I
because
lost you.
and I lost you. Oh, and then
So
it goes into like their whole relationship and like what before they broke up the first time, and like
mhm. It's just it that's one of the episodes that shows that
it might be my favorite Adventure Time episode.
really?
The more I think about it, the more it might be my favorite Adventure Time episode because I also love all of the stakes arc. That's like
Yes,
my
that
favorite
one's
arc
good.
because it's very Marceline centered.
Very Marcy. Yes, I loved getting
But
to
that's
know
just like the
Marcy's
first like I
background.
feel like real moment of vulnerability that we get from PB.
Yeah, it truly
Because
is.
before that she has this like such and before like the earlier seasons, most of Adventure Time is told through Finn and Jake's perspective, and they see PB as this um for lack of a better term, like godlike figure. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, Finn's like 12 years old, and he
in the
has
beginning of the
at the
thing.
beginning of the show, and he has a massive crush on PB, who he sees. She's like 10 years older than him.
Mhm.
Well, a lot of years older than him, but like
Technically?
looks like she's like 19, right?
Yeah.
She appears as 19. So like he sees her as like everything, and also she's cool and she has her own kingdom, and she's got it all put together, you know. So he sees her as like somebody that he really wants to be like,
Mhm.
you know. And so the show kind of portrays her, and then you get more into her psyche and actually that she's not a very good person. And I think that whole her not being you realize that she isn't a very good person with the whole Finn and Flame Princess relationship
Yeah.
dynamic.
Because when Finn and Flame Princess were like getting together and like going on their fun little like 13-year-old dates, doing like the
Mhm.
cute little like teenage romance thing.
Yeah, like middle school dates.
Yeah, she like tells
Them
him
holding hands is such a
them
big
holding hands is
deal.
so funny. Finn has like his hand like wrapped in aluminum foil and they're like holding
It's
hands
so
like this.
cute.
But Bubblegum is like does not like it whatsoever. And I think it
The
was more of
reasoning
like a safety issue.
the reasoning is because again, Flame Princess feel her fire powers are basically controlled by her emotions,
and
is the
so
way
they're
that they describe it.
yes.
And so anytime she feels an insane emotion, her flaminess, because she is quite literally made of fire,
Yeah. Gets really hot. And so
um
PB is scared that
if she gets too horny.
if Finn and Flame Princess kiss, that she's gonna melt into the core of Ooh and destroy the world.
Uh-huh.
And so there's like an entire episode where she's like trying to thwart Finn
Like
and Flame
break him
Princess from getting
up.
together.
But
And Finn
thinks
gets upset.
Finn gets upset, but he thinks it's because
She's jealous.
she's jealous.
And he's like, you like me and you don't like me, and
Uh-huh.
it confuses me. And then she like tells him that she's like worried about him. And
Mhm.
and that was like kind of one of the episodes where Finn was like, that wasn't a nice
That wasn't it. Like,
thing
why?
to
First of all,
do.
why didn't you just tell me?
Yeah.
And then, and that's when you kind of start to see Princess Bubblegum as less of this like
Like godlike, absolute like monarch figure who's
figure
like
that you want to be like, and that Finn so desperately wants to impress.
Yes.
And more of an actual human, because that's when that's her. She's kind of taken down from her pedestal
Mm-hmm.
for a second, the pedestal that Finn puts her on. And that's when the show. That's also around the time that the show started focusing less on Finn and Jake solely, and more doing their like spin-off episodes,
Yeah.
where they focus on characters that aren't Finn and Jake at all,
But still have like a part to do with their story.
the
Which is
larger
like,
story of Ooh.
yeah. But Bubblegum, it does in that moment seem that she's jealous. And I think there might be a part of that because her relationships with a lot of people are
She-
kind of like out of whack.
She definitely has a fear of abandonment and a fear of
Yes.
betrayal, which was definitely caused by Gumball.
Yes, it's definitely part of that. And I think also because she's been alone for so long, like she has Nettie, and like, but he isn't very verbal.
Mhm.
He's mostly suckling on the teat of the tree.
Yeah, they're like I think I've seen people say that they are two very different portrayals of how autism can present in people.
Yes,
Because
and
PB is so analytical, and she represses her emotions a lot, and she approaches everything from a very logical standpoint,
Yeah.
and then Nettie he's nonverbal, he doesn't speak at all. He's very needy, quite literally.
Yeah.
Um,
There's an episode entirely surrounding their relationship, which I think that was like a really beautiful episode because
mhm,
it's kind of the one of the first times we see the mother gum, which is
mhm,
where Bubblegum and Nettie are originally from, and you can see that when they like fall off, Bubblegum does fall down a lot more gracefully and like hit the ground, and I think Nettie might be the way he is because he did land on a rock,
and like,
but you can see that her like immediate response was to go to protect him,
mhm,
and you see that throughout the entire episode because that episode, King of Ooh like accidentally scares Nettie away from the tree, and basically
exactly.
Candy Cane goes kaput because
Mhm.
Nettie's, I guess, sucking on the tree was like providing, I guess, the water for Candy
I
Kingdom.
think that's what it
I
was.
don't, I don't really know what
Like,
it
I don't
is.
really
They
know
were
why
like
it was important, but they were freaking
they
out.
were freaking out, but you see in that episode that Bubblegum like immediately goes to try to find and comfort him. And they
Mhm.
have like this like special like sound that they do to each other to let them like
Oh,
know who
right.
it is and like calm them down. And so it shows that she truly does care about her brother. And I do agree with you that they're kind of like both sides of the same spectrum
Uh-huh.
of like autism and stuff. Because I think in that episode she also was like, it doesn't really matter who people are. You kind of just have to like let them
Uh-huh.
be who they are.
Yeah, she says it in, like, a very
She says it in
eloquent
a more
way that I
eloquent
think
way.
that it's really good. We'll, like, put the quote up there if you're watching it or whatever. Because it's not like we'll put, because it's actually a really beautiful quote, and I wish I could remember it because it does move me.
It's called Google.
Oh, yeah. It's like sometimes people are just born different and you kinda have to
Yeah.
deal with it or, like, figure it out. Or it's something along the lines of some people are just different.
Yeah. Whew. But
We're looking it up.
and that's one of her true relationships. Like
Mhm.
Nettie is truly one of the people that she's actually, I guess, related to. Because when you look at Cheekley, Lolly, and Gumbald,
It was really
her aunt, uncle, and cousin,
she was trying to make a
she was trying to
family.
make a family, but she gets inspired by like a photo she has that she
Uh-huh.
found when she was little in like
Uh-huh.
the wreckage of like the mushroom
Yeah, the
after
mushroom
the
war.
mushroom war went off, and
Mhm.
she just finds this picture of this like, I guess, what she considers like a picture perfect family,
Like, nuclear family type
and she
situation.
easily could have made them her mother, father, and brother, but instead she makes them
Her
her.
uncle,
So she's like,
aunt, and cousin.
she wants family, but she's like detached from it because I think
Mhm.
she might be afraid of like losing someone, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly, because she hasn't, which is interesting because you could argue that she hasn't really experienced loss at that point.
That's
Really, the
true.
only person that she knows is Nettie,
Yeah.
and, her and Nettie left the mother gum by choice. Well, technically, they
Yes, I
left
think
the
by
mother
choice.
they left the mother gum by choice, so, she hasn't really experienced loss yet, which is very interesting. That implies that there is a part of her that inherently is so afraid. Oh, do we have the
I
quote
found it. I
up?
found the quote. Okay, it says, "People get built different. We don't need to figure it out. We just need to respect it,"
Ah, it's so
which
good.
is very beautiful, and I agree with it.
I agree with that too. But yeah, she totally has this, like, inherent built-in fear of abandonment, which is very interesting.
I think in the episode where she does like, I guess, create Gumbald and the rest of the
Mhm.
family, she's like, I kind of miss the mother gum because we everybody
Mhm.
had each other's backs, and she's been alone for
Excuse me.
so long. Like she has Nettie, but he doesn't talk, and
No,
so she's
yeah.
kind of just been alone. And so this kind of moment of like, I wish I had someone to lean on,
Mhm.
kind of really makes the betrayal of Gumbald, Lolly, and Cheekley even worse
Uh-huh.
because all she really wanted was a family. And what I think is that when she made them, I don't know if she made them out of the mother gum or I guess a part of herself, but
Yeah.
she
Oh
does
my god, if she
have,
made them out of
if
herself,
she
that's
made them out of
even
herself,
worse.
that's kind of even worse. And what I've seen and like what I've like thought about is that each person is like a different part
Aspect of
of
her
Bubblegum,
personality. I've seen that
because
around
you
too.
see like Gumbald in because they have the whole conflict in, I guess, season 9 and
Mhm.
10. They have the whole conflict of Gumbald wanting his own kingdom and
Mhm.
as Bonnie having Candy Kingdom. And you see that as she grows up too, because when they're like living together in the cabin before Candy Kingdom is fully established, she's like, "Oh, let's go do this like fun family activity." And Gumbald's like, "No, actually, let's do this instead." And
Mhm.
so you kind of see that his personality is kind of her like
Mhm. They both
stubbornness and determinedness. And you see that in like the final
they
episode with their conflict. Because when they get like
Uh-huh.
nightmare juice,
Uh-huh.
they have this whole conflict of like, you're copying me, you're basically me, I am you.
Uh-huh,
And so
exactly.
it kind of that like also like
Mhm.
solidifies the theory that they're kind of like a person. And then like Lolly is like her wanting to be nice. It's like her
Yeah.
nice aspect of her personality. Then Chica is like the funny, sarcastic one that sometimes
Exactly.
she is.
Mhm.
And I think that's just like, so when he betrays her, she's like basically sort of betraying herself.
It's
But
so upsetting.
but also like when he makes the dum dum juice, Gumbald was the one who made the dum dum juice.
Mhm.
Um,
He was gonna dumb
he was gonna dumb down Bonnie because Bonnie wasn't going with his plans. And that's
Mhm.
kind of something you see Bubblegum do in later years, is when
Yeah.
somebody isn't like doing what she wants, she like either like gets rid of them or like makes them like dumber, because there is like the rattle balls. Do you remember like
No, the rattle balls. They're
yes,
the yeah.
the
Oh my
like the
the
warriors?
this is another reason where people were like, "Oh, she might be a little bit of a fascist because they're like super
She
soldiers."
creates these super soldiers called rattle balls
And then
to
they're
keep
like
her rowdy citizens in line, and
they're
then they
basically
get
like how would you describe they're like
they're like militant
mm,
enforcers,
yes.
basically. They go around Candy Kingdom if they see anything out of like
Mhm.
wrong, or I guess morally wrong, which
They
is
like beat you
sometimes
up.
weird for Bonnie to do with something morally wrong.
Uh-huh.
Is she then just like, and then they get too powerful and they start like lashing out and going after like innocent people, and she's like, they're too powerful, so
And
she kills
she
them.
just kills them.
Yes, and then you sort of see, I mean, I guess Gumball doesn't. I guess he does make his own warriors. He
He
sort of does. He
does.
makes like the giant
Uh-huh.
thing. Um, but you can see that her relationship with her aunt, uncle, and cousin are like really strained, because they want to be separated from her, but they're also like a part of her.
Mhm.
And when they try to go dumb down Bonnie so that they can take over, I guess, her Candy Kingdom, she like uses her pea spitter and it gets hit on Gumbald instead.
Mhm.
But Gumbald also betrays Lolly and Chicle.
He
Do you
does.
remember that?
Because he was gonna dumb them down too.
He did. He dumbed them down, and that's how Bonnie found out, is because she was listening to their plan.
Mhm.
And he like betrays his own family because he thinks that
Mhm.
they would betray him.
Which is such a Bonnabelle thing to do.
I know.
Which is really sad, and I feel like we're not making our case that she is actually a good person, guys. But she is. We swear
But
she
she
gets
is, I
better.
swear she
She's
gets
just
better.
complex and interesting, okay? Okay, here's the thing. First of all, bad people can be good characters.
Yes,
You can
she's
like a character and they can still be a bad person, which is like something that the internet and like social media cannot fathom. When people are like, we need more complex characters, and
you
then it's
can't
like
even handle the ones you have.
you can't even understand Princess Bubblegum because people are so quick.
You gotta understand.
People are so quick to be like, she's the real villain of the story. No
she's
shit. First of all, no shit, and second of all, no, she's not.
No, she's not. There's actually several main villains. One of them is the Lich,
Uh-huh.
which is like
Literally the embodiment of
death
evil and death.
evil. Come on. She's like, she has done some terrible, horrible things, but she also has a complicated past.
Mhm.
And thinking about it, her horrible past, and I guess the things she's already done, she could be 10 billion times worse.
She could.
Just saying, she could be
She could be like
she could be horrible. Just saying. Is
Mhm.
like, I know that's like a weird extreme of like, she could be worse.
She could be she could be killing the she actually did that. Never mind. She did kill the rattle balls. But like she could be killing people for no reason. So
she could be trying to take over all of Ooh. Just saying, guys.
Yeah, she could be a colonizer.
Oh, well, thinking about it, I actually think she did do that. She did technically do that in the elemental arc, but that wasn't her fault. That was the ice elemental's fault. I swear it wasn't Bonnie. We are really not helping our Bonnie is a good person. Guys, I swear.
She's
better.
Okay.
She gets so good.
She's just a teenage girl and she's literally pink.
The elemental was not her fault. That was all the ice elemental. Bonnie did not want to do any of that. And I know that she did technically well, I guess she didn't take over. No, I guess she did. She did.
She took over a good portion.
She took over a good portion of Ooh, actually. Technically, she took up 1/4 of Ooh because then the other elements took over the others. But then she started to expand a little bit. Lucy, we're not.
Because if you look at the comparison, like a side by side of the original elemental quadrant map, and then the like before it gets turned back.
Okay, so she may
or may not have been a colonizer.
Guys,
okay,
we're not. I know we're not helping our point, but I swear she's literally so
well. Also,
good.
again, the thing is that you can really like a character, and they can still be a bad person.
They can still be a bad person, and we can like that character. And
also, she's a lesbian. So
also speaking of that. What do you mean? Dude, Marceline and Bubblegum.
Let's talk about it.
Because they are so cute. And a lot of people, a lot of
gay people,
haters say that their relationship was crushed. And you know what I say?
They didn't even get together officially till the last episode.
And no, that's what people are like mad about is because they didn't get together until the last.
Well,
episode.
okay, I get that kind of, but like,
but here's the thing. Yes, the fuck they did. First of all, they are like 800 plus years old.
And they were like already dating beforehand, and then they broke up.
And talking about this, okay. The first time they interact, it's in the show, is in like season 2 or something.
Yeah.
And it's clear that they've already interacted.
And that they have history.
Because Marceline goes, hello, Bonnabelle. And PB goes, hello, Marceline. And so you can see that they've interacted before. And that is the truth. Because in a later season, in a flashback, you see that like, I want to say like actually teenage Bubblegum goes to one of Marceline's concerts. And Marceline throws her shirt to Bubblegum and she gives her a little wink. She
keeps that shirt for hundreds of years.
And
she sleeps in that shirt.
She's emotionally connected to the shirt because in the door episode.
She's so me.
And then I think actually that's like the second time they interact in the show is the door episode where Finn,
totally
Emo, Jake, and Bubblegum get their stuff stolen. And you find out that and there's the killer song in there. I'm just your problem. And within that song, you see that Marceline is upset that Bubblegum is like treating her differently, but also she in like the ending bit, she's like, I don't know why I want to like get back with you, like keep talking with you. And so you see that they like want to like interact again. That is also a killer PB episode.
Oh, such a good one.
Because I think she has like the little braid and like it's so cute.
Oh, it's so good. And then at the end of the episode when they get their stuff back, because all of them had something important from them stolen. And like it was like Jake, it was probably like a sandwich, and Finn
Jake got his blankie stolen.
Oh, he did get his blankie stolen.
Finn got a piece of Finn lost a piece of Bubblegum's hair, and they had to talk about that, which was weird.
It's not Finn's best moment.
No,
but TBH, he's kind of, not that he's kind of real for that, but like I'm also, sometimes we need that crazy girl representation.
Exactly.
Okay, which is where I'm getting to with how PB is such crazy girl representation, because once again, she kept that shirt. For hundreds of years.
Here's the thing. Jake goes, Marceline, here's your rock shirt. And Marceline's like,
that's not my shirt.
That's not my shirt anymore. But she's like, and Bubblegum's like, it's mine.
It's mine. It's really important to me.
I wear. She's like, you never wear it, and Bubblegum's like, dude, I wear it all the time as pajamas. And literally in a later season, I don't know if it's the next episode. There's definitely episodes in between where they interact, but this is another
like
peak, really,
episode.
really big Marceline and Bubblegum like connecting episode. Is you see that Bubblegum wakes up in the shirt. She wakes up in the shirt that Marceline has given her. She sniffs it. She goes huge inhale. And then you see her go to her closet, and when she opens her closet, guess what's inside? A picture
of Marceline and Bubblegum.
They're like hanging out.
And they've broken up at this point. But they're like friends.
They're like friends.
But she doesn't have any pictures of her other friends. No. She's got no pictures of her and Finn together.
No, she just has a picture, and it's in her closet. And then later in that episode, Marceline comes by. She's like, Bubblegum, let's hang out like right now. And Bubblegum's like, I mean, I guess so. And so they go, and you find out that Marceline has wanted to get Hambo back because Hambo was sold to the evil Sky Witch Maya because her ex-boyfriend
Raggedy
Ash
Princess
wanted
can get you a new Hambo in like
stop.
Sorry.
We'll get to the bit. We'll get to the bit.
Fine.
Because her ex-boyfriend sold it, which fuck Ash.
Fuck
that
Ash.
guy.
We hate him.
I also would have punched him in the face like Simon did. But you find out that like she wants Hambo back. And Marceline, and then Bubblegum's like, you don't need to get Hambo.
No. Raggedy Princess can make you a new Hambo in like 3 seconds. Or Raggedy Princess can be your new Hambo. She'd do it too. That girl's got like zero self-respect.
That was mean.
Don't tell her I said that.
Real quote from the thing. That's one of sometimes PB has a little like mean girl streak, and that's one of them. It's such a funny bit though.
She's a little bit of a Regina George.
She can
be your new Hambo.
But later in the episode, Maya, I think it's Maja actually.
Maja the witch.
Maja the Sky Witch. She's like, no, I'm not giving up Hambo. I got it fair and square. It was like an equal purchase.
And it's got so much emotional,
so much sentimental juju
value on it. Like she can smell sentimental because Simon got it from, or Simon gave it to Marceline
when they were like living together
after the mushroom war.
Yeah. So it has a lot of sentimental value too.
Which is crazy because to get it back, PB is like, I'm not going anywhere without that monkey. It's a monkey,
yes,
right?
It's a monkey. It's a little monkey.
I'm not going anywhere without that monkey. And then it cuts to Marceline fighting the crabbit. I wanted to say it was like a raven rabbit, but I knew that was wrong. It's the crabbit.
Crow
rabbit. Fighting the crabbit. And you think that there's this big fight sequence that just happened off screen with Maja and PB. And she's like, don't worry, I handled it. I got Hambo back. And then it cuts to Maja the Sky Witch, and the crabbit is like, they got away with it or whatever. Yeah. They got away with Hambo. And she's like, I let them because I got this instead.
And she holds up PB's shirt that she got from Marceline. And she's like, this has more sentimental value than that thing ever did, which is crazy.
Because quite literally,
Hambo is one of Marceline's most prized possessions. It was given to her when she was like 5 years old
from the man that she sees as basically her dad, because her dad is fucking shit.
And then Hambo literally
Simon raised her.
Is the reason that Betty is able to get to Ooh, because he's like, Hambo is the answer.
Exactly.
So what do you mean that this shirt that Marceline gave Bubblegum probably like, I don't know, like 100s of years ago has more sentimental value
in like
than that.
less, and it wasn't even like I want you to have this shirt, it's important to me. It was like she took it off mid-concert and threw it off stage and it's like sweaty and gross.
It's true.
And like, I mean, were they dating at that point or were they dating after that?
I want to, in my head, they probably met after the concert. They're like, hey, oh my God, you're
hey
cute.
girl.
But then I think because in Distant Lands, there's that time period.
Oh yeah.
Where they're like together. And this is I think probably their first breakup because it was huge to them. Marceline and like Bubblegum go to the Glass Kingdom,
Yes.
and they're having a problem with like this like fire monster. And fire and glass don't mix, guys. Just so you know, fire does in fact melt glass at a high enough temperature. And the glass people were afraid because this was a giant ass monster. So they call Bubblegum and they like want her to like come by, but Marceline tags along, which is like she's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go with you," and it's kind of implied that they've like been talking together and they've like known each other for a while, and it seems like they're together
Together.
because then later on, Marceline and Bubblegum are like arguing about like what to do about the thing, and Marceline. This is never. I don't know if we're gonna help our case with Bubblegum doesn't suck a little bit, but she
Oh,
literally.
you're so right, actually.
But in this scene, she's like, Marceline's like, well, then why did you invite me? And Bubblegum's like, I didn't. They called for me and you tagged along. And then she goes like, go home. I honestly can't focus with you here acting like monster trash.
Whoa!
Huh? First of all, you know that Marceline does not like to be called a monster because she's like
she's half demon and she's the last vampire left on on Earth.
That's like a big thing because Marceline literally went and wiped out all the vampires herself.
And I think you would agree with me that on this that her becoming a vampire is very much a metaphor for assault, and like the whole scene just reads so gross and disgusting.
Yeah. And then Marceline plays like a breakup song. And basically it basically sounds like they're breaking up. And then they like leave. And you can see that both of them are like super upset. They're like crying about it. And it seems more than like a friendship breakup.
It was like a breakup.
But that song also like helps the monster. But then we'll get to the other half of the episode later. But that's like the first time they broke up, and then I think then they interacted when Finn wanted to impress Bubblegum.
Exactly.
But then you see when we're circling back to the Varmint episode, that's kind of another pivotal moment in their relationship, is because they talk about, I guess, what that breakup was, is they talk about how because like she like pushed her away basically.
Totally.
And so I want to say that the Varmint episode references, I guess, the Distant Lands episode in that beginning half where they break up, because she's like, I pushed you away and I'm so sorry.
And like, yeah, and I lost you.
I don't know if that's one of the words, but it is in my head.
It feels in my head.
In my head, it's canon that she says, I lost you. And so then I think the Varmint episode kind of like gets them back together, you know?
No, I totally think it does.
Because later in, I think season, I want to say 8, I think it's like the first episode of season 8, Marcy and Bonnie go to Ice King.
Oh, right.
And in my head, that's like, she's like meeting her dad.
Exactly.
Because Ice King is like her father, and like she's like their father.
And the whole like setup, like Ice King prepping for them. He's like, Marceline and Bubblegum are coming over. Yes. And we're going to have dinner together. And he's like talking to like Gunther and like all the other penguins. And he's like, it totally feels like the dad getting ready to meet his daughter's girlfriend.
Yes. And it's, and they're like nervous about it because obviously Ice King and Bubblegum have had like a past of like conflict and stuff. Ice King's just
Ice King hitting on Bubblegum.
And I guess kidnapping her, but he's just a guy. He's a silly little guy. He's troubled.
He's troubled.
But that episode is definitely like one of the things where it's like, yeah, maybe they're dating I think they're dating at this point, because it feels like she's going to meet Marceline's dad. And like, and also later in that episode, when they're like talking, she calls, like when Ice King goes goo goo bananas, and the crown is going in a fritz, Bubblegum calls him Simon.
Yes.
She goes, Simon is going crazy. And Marcelin's like, she's like, what are you? Called him Simon.
Which like, Bubblegum was not there for when Marceline told Finn and Jake about Ice King when he was Simon, and like Simon falling into madness because of the crown. And which is also, we talked about this earlier, like not on podcast, but we talked but like before that, but after this episode, Finn only calls Ice King Simon.
Simon.
And so that she had to have talked to Bubblegum about that outside of that, and that's just such like a, because before that episode they're close, but they aren't really before like the vermin episode they're close and they're obviously friends, but they aren't like, because there's still that tension of like they used to be really close and like dating. They used to be really close and they're not close anymore because they broke up and something happened. And after the vermin episode, it feels like they're super, super duper close again.
Mm-hmm.
And does the vermin episode come before or after the stakes arc?
I think it's before this, because Stakes is in season 8.
They're dying. Because Stakes, they're dating.
They're dating. Are you kidding
They are
me?
dating in Stakes.
And also when we'll get to the Stakes, but in that episode with the crown, Simon is like, when they go into the crown, because they use like their VR equipment, they go into the crown, and Simon goes to Marceline and he's like, so any boyfriends yet? And Marcelina's like, no, not a boyfriend, but glances at PB, maybe a girlfriend. And then now we in the Stakes episode, I definitely think they are dating, like you said earlier.
No, oh my god, because Marceline literally sees their future together.
No, and the Stakes thing is basically like Bubblegum helping Marceline become unvampired
and then become re-vampired.
I think in like the first episode, she's like, Marceline, I'm really, 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 really excited to use my new lab on you, but I think she's like starts to like get really close to Marceline.
She's
like
so cute. I'm really excited to perform experiments on you.
Yes, but she like does it. She like she does it for Marceline. She does it for Marceline. She takes her vampirism out.
But then they have to go on a quest because it brings back all the other vampires.
Yes, because it does bring back all the other vampires. And
the vampires that Marceline killed.
Yes,
because she has their powers.
Yes, and that is, oh my gosh, the like whole basically. I think there's like maybe 5 or 6 Stake episodes. It's like Marceline and Bubblegum, and Finn and Jake are there too, obviously.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like you can see their struggle because Bubblegum. I don't know if Bubblegum is immortal, but she has lived for very long. And we know that Marceline is immortal as long as she's a vampire.
In my canon, like my head canon for PB is that like she is alive until she is killed. You know, like she will live forever unless she is killed. Kind of like vampire logic.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I agree with that. I like that. But like you can see their like conflict of like morality. Not like mortality. Not morality. Of mortality, because Marceline can like die now. Like she is half demon, but she'll still live a long time because she can age and she can die, which is like one of the really upsetting. And there's a point in one of the episodes where she gets poisoned and she envisions their future.
She sees them together, and it leads to after they're living together in the cabin, and it's very lesbian.
It is
living together, alone together in the woods. Like, are you joking? And afterwards, they're like doing jumping jacks. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, they're doing jumping jacks.
They're doing jumping jacks. I don't know the context as to why, but like
they're in the I don't really think the context.
I don't think it matters, but like they're together. They're doing their little workout, and she's like, "I dreamt about you when I was in my poison coma. I was all old and withered, and you were still nice and pink."
And Bubblegum goes, "You think I'm nice?"
She's so me for that because
so cute. And then
oh my god, you think I'm nice?
You think I'm nice?
Which also implies, because everybody kind of sees PB as like mean, and like a bad person, and that's probably like one of the first times in a while that somebody has told PB that they think she's a good person and that she's nice.
You think I'm nice? She says it so softly too. It's so cute.
And then and then they literally blush. They're always blushing when they're around each other. It's, how did anybody think that
it was rushed?
First of all, how did anybody think that it was rushed? And there were still people when the show was airing that were like, they're not gay. They're not gay.
What do you mean then?
They're just friends and they're girls.
Are you seeing these lesbians interact?
They're literally like, Are you joking?
No,
Are
I
you
know.
actually stupid? Do you lack that much media literacy?
Is your frontal lobe functioning?
Exactly.
No, and then I think later in the stakes, Marceline unfortunately does turn back into a vampire, which is like
Mhm.
not what she wanted. But then she's like, now we get to stay
Together
together forever.
forever.
And she's like, thank you for helping me grow up, Bubblegum. Thank
Mhm.
you for helping me grow up, Bonnie. And it's
Yeah.
so sweet. And then
It's interesting when you think about it too, because they and like a handful of other characters are really the only functionally immortal characters that we know.
mhm.
And it's really sad because Bonnabelle has probably had to watch a lot of, I mean, we see it with Shoko
Yes, we see
in
with
the
Shoko,
Shoko
one
episode
of
that she's
Finn's
had to
reincarnations.
watch a lot of people that she loves die.
Yeah.
And that's probably another reason
Why her
she
abandonment
her
issues are
abandonment
so
issues and like maybe
and how she does not connect with people very
very
easily.
because she's shut herself off because she's had to watch. I mean, the whole Shoko episode is a little bit gay too. Like
It
there's
is
that
a little bit gay. I do one of my favorite parts is when she goes, "Word 'em up."
word 'em up.
And
We're gonna
I've started using it in my everyday life.
yeah, we want to bring
So,
back word 'em up.
word 'em up.
Word 'em up.
But that one episode is a little bit gay, but
Mhm.
it shows that she like has more troubles. And then I think in like and then you get oh my god,
Uh-huh.
what am I trying to say? Because after the stakes episode,
Yes.
I think that's the kiss.
That's the
You get to
kiss.
come along with me, which is the final episode, which made me
It's so good. It's such a good finale.
God, it's such a good
It's such a good
and
finale.
you kind of see everything in that episode is such a good one that like kind of brings a lot of stuff
Mhm.
together because you see her interactions with her family, you see her interactions with Finn, you see her interactions with Marceline,
Mhm.
and you see that she's like there's a lot of conflict
Yeah.
within that episode. Basically, season 10 is all conflict with her
Yeah.
family of like Gumbald being like, I'm gonna make my own kingdom because you're not respecting me. And so they're like kind of they're on like the verge of war.
Mhm.
They're like spying on each other. She doesn't trust anyone at this
Mhm.
moment. And I think one of the only people she does trust is like Marceline and
Marceline
Finn and
total.
Jake.
Yeah.
And you like see her interactions with Finn are more, I guess, a little more hostile because she's like, Finn, you can't
Mhm.
solve because Finn has like a past of like super violence. And so she's like,
Yeah.
Finn, this is the one time you can be really violent. And Finn's like, I don't really want to this time. And so
Mhm.
he kind of goes against
Finn at this point has also been having like a little bit like
he's also had he also
had to
just
kill
saw the
himself.
person and then also come back
Uh-huh.
because Fern comes back.
Yeah.
And so you kind of see Finn go against PB's wishes and like go and you see him interact with Chicle, Lolly, and
Mhm.
Gumbald, and you see him like I guess actually solve it without
Violence,
violence,
which is a first for
which is kind
Finn,
of one of the
which is
first
why
things for Finn.
it's again such a good finale because it shows that Finn, our main character, has really learned a lot
Yeah.
since he was 12 years old, and his solution for everything was stab it.
And now he's like he actually saves Uncle Gumbald.
Uh-huh.
And okay, but in the end
In the end, they get dumped.
in the end it was like a ruse to
Uh-huh.
like get Finn to turn Bubblegum stupid because they do douse
Mhm.
Finn and Jake in the dum dum juice and then
Yeah.
send them on back to Bubblegum.
Mhm.
And that's when the war starts because they think they got like a peaceful thing and he's like, you tricked me.
Mhm.
And so then you have like the whole ending fight scene where they get sent to the dream world. They have like the whole discussion about
Mhm.
like who they are and like
Exactly.
they kind of find out that they're kind of similar and then that's like what saves them, I guess. They never
Mhm.
actually end up going to war because huzzah, family therapy.
Family therapy.
Shout out family
And then they have bigger
therapy.
problems because they have to stop.
Yeah, and then they have bigger problems because Gulp comes in.
Gulp comes in.
But then with the
They all have to
Gulp,
work together.
and you kind of see another relationship with Marceline is when Marcy thinks that Bubblegum basically died.
Yes.
Because Bubblegum gets like crushed
Yeah.
by one of
Ain't
the
nothing gonna happen to me.
ain't nothing gonna happen to me. And you find out that
Never.
and then that's when the kiss
And that's when they kiss.
you see that they
Mhm.
embrace, and then they kiss, and then the world goes crazy because I've been waiting
Mhm.
so long. And then they kiss, and it's so cute, but it's brief because
Mhm. Everyone
they're in the
cheered.
middle of a war.
Yeah, they are. They are trying to stop the end of the world, and
Mhm.
Glorb taking over the world.
Golb.
Sorry, Golb. Golb
I
and
think
Glorb.
Glorb. No,
Glorb,
no, Golb. It's
it's
Golb.
Golb because Glorb is a different thing. And then there's Glob God
God, Glob, God.
Globgrod. Globgrod.
I think.
What is it with Adventure Time and the globs, the glord, gold,
I don't know. I don't
gold?
know.
Oh my god. The writers, literally, they did shrooms. I'm convinced they were on shrooms while writing those
Okay,
scripts.
this is
But there is a
super.
consistency.
This is super off topic about bubblegum and stuff, but I do have to say the voice actor for Fern would just take bong rips before before he started voicing Fern.
That makes so.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh my god, that makes so much.
That sidetracked me, but it's such a fun fact, and I think it's so funny. It's so funny.
That makes so much sense.
I know. It's hilarious. It's so funny. I love it. I mean, I guess back to bubblegum, you kind of in that episode, and then we get the
Mhm.
kiss, huzzah, yippee.
Everybody cheered, everybody clapped. Lesbians all over the world
Woo!
dropped dead because we finally got it and we weren't crazy.
And we weren't crazy, and they didn't queer bait us.
Woo!
I love when I don't get queer
Voltron
baited.
could never.
I literally was about to go. I was literally about to go. I was like, I love when I don't get queer baited. Voltron.
Voltron legendary defender.
Defenders. What happened to Clance?
What happened to Clance? Literally, oh my
Yes,
god.
I love that and then they were canon, and then and then they have the Distant Lands episode.
Distance Lands episode
where it's kind of the last one you see.
Well, because I think a big criticism of because I mean I do understand that a lot of 2010s gay representation was a lot of we're gonna make him kiss at the last episode so the network can't cancel us
Mhm.
type of shit, and I kind of understand that, but it is a little bit too little too late, oh, they kissed in last episode, so I do get why people were a little bit I wish we had had more of them
Mhm.
together. But then we get the whole Distant Lands episode.
And you see that
which
they
is
had a past, and then you see what their
future
their
is.
future is, and they have to go back to the Glass Kingdom because the
Mhm.
monster is attacking again.
Yeah.
And Marceline tries to play her song, and it doesn't work because obviously she's not upset with bubblegum anymore.
Mhm.
And she tries to sing a song, and she's basically like, "You used my comb, but it's okay. You can use my comb. I don't really care. Love you."
Kisses.
And
You wore my clothes,
but it's okay because you looked cute in them.
Uh-huh.
And then they kind of you realize that they still have a conflict over how to solve this problem.
Exactly.
But they don't fight it out anymore. They actually have a genuine discussion. I do think they
Mhm.
argue about it, and they have differing ideas
Uh-huh.
on what they want to do.
And it's such a good representation of what healthy relationships look like too,
Yes.
because I feel so often, especially in children's media,
Mhm.
it's Adventure Time is really good at exploring different relationships and how they work. And chosen family, and that
Yeah.
not all you can still love someone even if they aren't a good person.
And you can see the good in them, and they both see the good in each
Uh-huh.
other. And in that episode, Marceline, they get trapped in the thing,
Mhm.
and Marceline sings so cute. It's I don't wanna grow old together, but we'll never grow old with you. And it's so cute, and it's basically I want to be with you, and I know that we're not gonna, I guess, age, but
Mhm.
you are the person that if I were to age, I'd want to spend the rest of my life with.
Exactly.
And then basically they set the fire demon free because the fire demon just wanted to be respected for being different. Because he was
Exactly.
actually a little cat butterfly.
Slay.
And then they have a little dance at the end.
They do.
And Marceline is and they're dancing together, and Bubblegum's I've always liked your songs. And it's so cute,
It's so
and they're
cute.
so beautiful. And And I think that's such a good like ending to like,
Mhm.
I guess the visual relationship, but also not really because did you watch Fiona and
I
Cake?
did not watch Fiona and Cake.
I watched Fiona and Cake, and
I want to,
there's
though.
2 episodes. Spoiler alert, Lucy.
It's
And
fine. I don't
anyone
really
who's
care about
listening.
spoilers. My hot take, guys, I don't really care about spoilers because if your story is going to be ruined by a spoiler, then it probably wasn't a very good story to begin with because it has no rewatch or reread value.
Yes. In one of the episodes, you see that Marceline and Bubblegum are trying to get matching tattoos.
Oh, okay.
They can't though because Marceline keeps healing and Bubblegum is made out of bubblegum. But you see that they're like together. They're
Okay.
like kind of living together. And then there's an alternate universe episode where
Mhm.
they basically hate each other. But the amount of sexual tension between them is crazy. Marceline is basically like this hot evil vampire. She
Okay.
like gets taken by the vampire king instead of Simon.
Oh, you've told me
Which-
about this. Oh,
if we ever get into if we ever get into a Marcy and Simon episode, I will talk about that. But in this episode,
and I will have watched
she gets
Fiona and Cake by
found
then.
by the vampire king instead,
Mhm.
and basically like is evil now and wants to like turn everyone into vampires. Bubblegum is like she has like these pink camo pants on. Girl basically has a low top fade. One of ninja had a low top of fade. Basically, she has a low top of fade, and it's fucking hilarious. It's like a buzz cut. It's
Okay,
I don't know, but
Surf.
there's like a crazy amount of sexual tension, and then they like kill each other. Not, but like the thing that happened was they were like they're like fighting, and then they like get to the edge, and Bubblegum either has the chance to save everyone else or like take down Marceline, but also die in the process. And she's
Okay.
like, I guess we're gonna die in eternity together. And then they fall off and they die.
That's
together.
gay.
And they die together though.
That's insane.
I know. And that was one of the episodes where I was like, that was queer as hell. That was gay. Even in an
Lesbians will do
alternate
anything
universe where
but say they
hate
like each other.
Lesbians would rather fall off a cliff and die with their crush than say anything about it. Okay.
So I think we've kind of discussed everything that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah. We talked about Bubblegum's morals, which we're still unclear if she's a good person or not, which is okay.
Which is
because
okay.
you can have morally great characters or bad characters and still like them.
Mhm.
Pound it.
Pound it.
Boom.
Word 'em up.
Word 'em up. We talked about her familial problems and her abandonment issues, which a lot of Adventure Time characters have.
I think every single one of them does.
A lot of them have abandonment issues.
Name one character who doesn't have abandonment issues. Tree Trunks?
Yeah, because she abandons other people. She's left all of her husbands except for Mr. Pig.
Except for Mr. Pig.
We talked about Bubblegum and Marceline. And how the lesbians won on that one. Well, word 'em up.
Word 'em up.
And how they weren't rushed. And if you say that Bubblegum and Marceline's relationship was rushed, I think that you didn't watch the show and don't understand girls.
I think you just don't understand the delicate art of a lesbian situationship.
You just don't understand the delicate art of a lesbian situationship. And
they were letting it linger, okay?
They let it linger.
They let it linger, okay?
For centuries on end.
Centuries.
Dude, if lesbians lived forever, they would do centuries shit like that. Are you kidding me? If you think they were rushed, you just don't understand a lesbian situationship. Learn about it. And I think that is it, Lucy. That is beautiful. Bubblegum, you are a complicated woman. And
you might be a fascist.
You might be a fascist, but
you served cunt while doing it.
You served cunt while doing it, girl. And you're pink, so double win.
Double win.
And you're lesbian, so I guess it all cancels out.
I think it's a win because Princess Bubblegum just showed that women really can do it all. Women can be evil. Women can be fascists. Women can be pink and
hot.
girly and
Smart.
And smart.
Literally a genius.
Women can perform morally gray experiments and still get the girl in the end.
And still get the girl in the end.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story, guys. You can still get the girl in the end.
PB gives a masterclass on flirting with your crush, and it's just perform what's the word I'm looking for? Experiment. I mean,
yes, perform experimental procedures
on her.
your crush, guys, and they'll fall in
Take
love
away
with
the
you.
one thing that makes her her.
That's not.
Well, that's not what she did. That's not what she did. Marceline wanted it to happen.
That's
Marceline
true,
asked
and
her
she
to
did
take
help
away her
it.
vampireness.
That's so funny. But don't worry, guys. You can still get the girl in the end and live forever in lesbian joy.
Lesbian bliss.
Well, Lucy.
I think we should also point out the fact that Marceline is canonically bisexual, though, not to erase bisexual characters. Sorry.
Yes,
I feel like we could get canceled for that. We don't want to get canceled on our second
date
episode.
Ash, even though Ash was a
even though we
dickhead.
hate him.
He did get beat up in the episode where Marceline does find out that he's Soul Hambo. He does get beat the fuck up by Finn and Jake. And then also in a later episode, he gets in the Crown episode, when they're like talking like Crown Simon, he's like, I want to punch that Ash guy in the face. And then in the episode where Betty comes back, he punches Ash in the face. Yeah, it's so funny. Ugh, screw Ash. But the lesbians won. I think that's the moral of the story. Moral of the story, Bubblegum is a fascist. But fascists can't be pink, right?
But fascists can't be pink, right?
You can get the girl in the end, even if you perform experimental procedures on them. And the lesbians won.
And
I think I said that twice, but who cares?
Okay.
Because the lesbians won. All right.
Thank you.
See, I think
we did that.
I think we did it again.
Come along with me and the butterflies and bees. We can wander through the forest and do so as we please.